segregation was part of our life because you heard so much about it after the riots of 1963. But the segregation wasn't part of our home because my grandfather and his family came from Greece. And in Greece they didn't have this. And we had a black lady who came from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Her husband worked in the coal mines, and he later passed away. And she moved to Baltimore because she had relatives here. But being very kind, her relatives would complain of being poor, and she would give them money, but they would never pay her back. And she ran out of money, so she came to my grandfather's store and got a job. And her job was in the kitchen. So when she wasn't working there, she came upstairs because we lived upstairs over the store. And she worked for us. And she was almost like my mother because she was such a sweet lady. And the segregation, we heard of it a lot and we saw it a lot because of the way that the people were treated. They were last to sit on the bus, in the back of the bus. They were in the restaurants separated where they would sit. In the bathrooms, the same thing. They were separated where they would be sitting. In the schools, I don't remember if I had any in my class or not. I really don't remember any. And it seems so strange to me because this was never a question in our home. We thought of them just like we thought of ourselves. They were just part of the family. I did support the movement, and because I thought that their reason for having this movement was a good reason, because they wanted to better the lives of all the people, not just of their own race. They wanted to be part of the growth of this country. And this is what this country was built on. People of all races coming together and working for the good of the country. I think the most effective way of protesting for the time period was Rosa Parks, who sat quietly on the bus and yet got her message through, that they wanted the same rights as every other person. I remember during the riots of 1963 hearing on the radio that these riots were taking place down in Baltimore where my husband had a store. And I was scared because when I would call on the phone and ask to talk to my husband, they said he wasn't there. And come to find out, he was trying to protect the buildings on both sides of him, because when they broke the glass in the bay windows, they were going in and taking out the clothes and the pocketbooks and whatever items were there and the mannequins, and he was trying to save their businesses. So I do remember it as being a very scary time. And this carried on for years after that. I was very scared because, you know, when there are gangs of people and there are guns involved and nightsticks involved, you never know when fighting breaks out and somebody could get shot accidentally or something, so I was very scared. during the riots of the 1963, the people were stirred up because they wanted to have peace and not have this hatred between the races, because there was no point to this. People came here from other countries, and they came to a country where they thought they would have opportunity. And of course my family agreed with this, because my family came from Greece and they too were looking for an opportunity to better their lives. And I'd say there were more openings for women because of necessity. We were in a war. We needed guns, we needed planes, we needed boats, we needed all these kind of fighting equipment. And so they went to war they went to work in factories building these different things. And then also we had the USO, where they were entertaining the troops. And Bob Hope was a big part of this. He went to these different places all over the world, not just here in America, entertaining the troops, trying to lift their spirits. I think a woman could own her own business in 1904 or the 1900s, but she would really have to be a strong-willed person and able to handle people. I think this is significant in my life, very much so, because I have children and grandchildren, and I'm concerned with their future. I want them to grow up in a fair and a good country, and this is my main concern.
Blue jeans, white shirt, walked into the room, you know you made my eyes burn. It was like James Dean, for sure. You're so fresh to death and sick as